episode 18 of Insurance, Investments, and All About Town podcast. My name is Eric Sporing, financial advisor and owner of ECS Capital Investments. To my left is my podcast partner in crime, healthcare guru extraordinaire.
Wow.
Tara Lavelle with Bonfire Insurance. Well, welcome, Tara.
Welcome.
Yeah, episode 18.
Are we going to quit counting at some point?
I don't know, right? I mean, it's exciting. Episode 18.
That is exciting.
Who would have thought, that we would be 18 episodes in after.
Right. And the truth is, all of this started at a conversation at Tacos for Life.
Tacos for Life.
Yeah.
And Tacos for Life. We've outlasted Tacos for Life.
We did. We have outlived Tacos for Life. But, yeah.
Yes, we have. Well, don't adjust your sets, video, whatever this morning. We will have a guest.
We do.
We do have the mayor coming on, Chris Lievsay. He will be on a little later. He got tied up in some meetings this morning, so he said he'd be over a little later, so we'll get him on here in a little bit. But you won't want to miss talking to Chris today. I was able to sit in on his State of the City address at the Chamber luncheon here a few weeks ago. There is some exciting stuff coming to Blue Springs and exciting stuff that they completed last year. And so I'll be excited to talk to Chris about some of those things. Did you know this?
Maybe? I don't know. What do you got?
So, Chris, we know he's the mayor of Blue Springs, but what else is, I want to say, something else about Chris and our podcast?
Oh, gosh. I have no idea.
He's our first repeat.
Oh, he is our first repeat guest. I figure he'll be an annual guest. Like, we're always going to need a State of Blue Springs address of some sort, right?
I agree. And, always good to get an update of what's going on in the city. So.
I agree.
Well, did you watch the Olympics?
Only the men's gold hockey game.
That's all you watched?
That honestly was it. But it was just on at strange times.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to catch and work. I know Eric doesn't think I work, but I do. And so, that hockey game was the one thing I caught. I made sure I was up early that Sunday morning.
Okay.
I watched probably the last half of the third period and a couple of minutes of overtime standing up about 6 feet from my television.
Just watching it.
Yeah, I was invested. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so I watched the gold medal match as well, but I caught it honestly right at the beginning of overtime starting.
Oh, you did?
So I caught
it was a great game.
Yeah, like I said, I caught that part.
I didn't catch the women's. I wish I had. I really wish I'd caught, I did catch a little bit of curling. I still don't understand it.
Well, I might have a little trivia about curling today.
Good. Yeah. I was just talking with Lee over at the Kansas City Curling Club this week, and during the month of February, they taught 1,000 people how to curl. That's how popular, learning to curl was in February this year.
It's funny you brought that up because I was talking to my wife and I was like, I wonder, after the Olympics, how busy they get.
Yeah.
We're for those you may not know, KC Curling Club is right here in Blue Springs, just down the street from where we're shooting today. But I wondered how much vibe or
lots of interest when the Winter Olympics are played. So he just thought it was really neat just to have the opportunity to share a sport he loves with so many people.
Yeah.
So it was really it's really a neat place. If you've never been, stop by. You can just stop in and have a drink. They have a bar.
They do have a bar.
You can learn to curl. You can do all sorts of stuff over there, but it's a fun place.
Yeah.
I usually watch, like the figure skating, or I didn't.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I like the speed skating. I like the short track speed skating, and I didn't catch any of that because I don't know. It just look. I think they have 16,000 channels of Olympics you can watch it, but I just like you. I just never did find it at the right time.
No.
So, but it was a good time. I mean, we won 24 medals, I think, or something.
Oh, did we?
34 medals, 34 medals, something like that. So I think that's like the most medals we've ever won in our Winter Olympics. So
are you a Winter Olympics fan or a Summer Olympics fan?
I would have to say probably a Summer Olympics. I'm a track and field guy. And in high school, I was a track and field guy. And so I was a sprinter. And so I love, the 100, 200, long jump. So I'm more of a Summer Olympics guy.
Okay. I like Summer Olympics. I'm
Do you?
excited. Yeah. So next Summer Olympics, softball comes back.
Yes. And
Played in Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City.
I know. I'm really excited about that.
You think you'll try to go?
I guess I'm hoping, since I have family in Oklahoma City, I also have two nieces at OU, that maybe since they're using the College World Series stadium, like maybe there's a chance that, I mean, I have no idea what it costs to go to an Olympics.
Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly.
So I'm not sure. I would love to go though.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We've got the World Cup coming here too soon,
Yeah,
so it'll be
that'll
interesting.
be here before we know it.
Well, yeah, it will be. So, well, today I think you were going to talk about a little Medicare A and B.
Yes, original
Medicare.
Yes.
Medicare A and B. I was going to talk about earnings growth kind of in the fourth quarter and how that's going to play into 2026.
Okay.
And then kind of, why diversification matters. So kind of with that, let's get started.
Let's do it.
Let's learn about A and B.
And I think we've broken down some of this before.
Yep.
In some of my most recent conversations, there's a lot of confusion as to what A covers, what B covers. They want to know what C is and what E is.
Yeah.
And or maybe people confuse Medicaid with Medicare.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
right, today we're just going to kind of clarify some of the terms.
Okay.
What's covered, what isn't, what your risk exposure is when you're just looking at original Medicare.
Okay.
So original Medicare, right, that is our federal insurance program that is for people age 65 and over, or you can qualify early if maybe you're receiving Social Security disability income.
Okay.
Before the age of 65, you may also be qualified for Medicare early. Your Medicare part, actually, let me back that up a minute. So that is Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you qualify by being of age,
correct,
right?
Yep.
65 and older,
Yep.
Or can qualify early for certain disabilities or if you're on disability.
Okay.
Medicaid, the difference between Medicaid and Medicare is you qualify for Medicaid based on income.
Income, yep.
So it is also a government program.
Mhm.
It's actually a federal program, and then there's some state stuff too. But it is based on income, and you have to qualify based on income.
Yep.
So that's the number one. Medicaid and Medicare are two different systems.
Yep.
And Medicare is what we're talking about for people 65 and over generally. Yep. We'll just use that as a general statement. So your Medicare Part A coverage is hospitalization.
Okay.
So it's going to cover hospitalization, hospice care, skilled nursing after a hospital stay. Most people don't pay a premium. So if you've worked your 40 quarters and qualify, or can qualify through a spouse, your premium for Medicare Part A is $0.
Correct.
However, every time you are hospitalized, there is a deductible of what I believe is $1,767. I could be off a few dollars.
Okay.
And that's for any stay of over 24 hours to 60 days. So you go in the hospital in January, 1,000, whatever the deductible is. I don't know why I didn't write that down. And then you go back in March, you pay it again. Okay, so every time you're hospitalized,
you have to pay that $1,000.
Correct. Okay. Correct. And if you're in for over 60 days, there's a daily charge, and those costs can get out of control, right? So there's no cap. Unlike your private health insurance right now, you look at a max out of pocket, you know what your max risk will be.
Right.
By only having Medicare Part A, first of all you have is hospitalization coverage, and you have a copay or coinsurance or deductible, whatever you want to call it, every time you're hospitalized with no limit.
So no limit. So you could go to the hospital 30
you go
times in a year, right? Once a month. And
every single time you're going to do that.
Okay.
Yep. Medicare Part B. So Part B is going to cover physician services, lab, outpatient surgery, anytime you see a specialist, those types of things. So we kind of think of hospitals one, and every hospitals A, and everything else is Part B.
Okay.
Part B has an annual deductible of, it's just over $280, I think. So once you've met that deductible, you then pay 20% of all charges for an ever and ever and ever with no max. Okay, so we're going to call it outpatient knee surgery. It's $35,000 surgery. You're going to pay your deductible and 20% of that bill. And then the next time you use a service, you're going to pay 20% of that bill. So original Medicare consists of those two pieces. Part B also has a charge. So we've talked about that, right? 202.90 is the charge right now for 2026. It will fluctuate next year. That is your monthly premium you pay for Part B.
Okay.
Assuming you're under some income guidelines that we've talked about before. So I'm not going to hit on the IRMA today to save us time. Most people will pay that $202.90 plus their deductible plus 20% of all charges.
Yeah.
So I have people often say, well, I'm already signed up for Medicare. I'm covered. You are, but you still have some out-of-pocket costs. And so that's when people get confused, right? And need to know, well, do I need Part C? Do I need Part E? Do I need Part... not all the letters make sense, right?
Right.
Part D is actually for prescription drugs. You do need to have a prescription drug plan, even if you're not currently taking prescription drugs, because if you don't enroll when you're eligible or within your initial or special enrollment period, you could face a penalty for the rest of your life for not having a Part D plan.
Really? Can you go, like the first year, 65, you sign up, you didn't get Part D, your second year comes around, can you add Part D then?
You could, but if you go 63 days without Part D, you incur a penalty.
Okay.
And
that's a lifetime penalty.
It is. It is a lifetime penalty.
Wow.
So yeah, making sure that you've at least signed up for A, B, and D. And then the question becomes, how do we cover the gaps, right? What happens? Like, I don't want to pay $1,767 or whatever it is every time I go to the hospital, or I don't want to pay 20% of my medical bills forever and ever. So that's where you kind of have that decision tree, which is, do I go with a Medicare supplement plus Part D coverage, or do you go with a Medicare Advantage plan that includes Part D coverage, right? Yeah. And that's when you really want to sit down with an expert and discuss what the implications of choosing each are, what the costs are that are associated with, either way you go, and then from there. But today, really the only thing I wanted to hit on was, what does original Medicare include? Right. What are the costs associated? And what is my risk if I just take original Medicare? Okay. Questions?
Yeah, I do have. I wrote down a couple while you were talking there. You talked about Medicare and getting it early. You got to be 55 and older? I mean, can you get it at age 40? I mean,
so when you think about loosely, the term would be disability. So for someone who is on disability, and receiving their Social Security disability income, once you have been receiving Social Security disability income for 24 months, it automatically enrolls you in Medicare Part A and Part B.
Automatically. And so it doesn't matter what age you are.
Correct.
I mean, you could have a disability accident at 25 and be on it.
Yes. So I have a client whose spouse has been on disability since his mid-30s. They did not realize that there was an option, like they automatically got Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B, at the 24 months when he received his 24th disability income check. Didn't realize they could have been utilizing another, like some coverage elsewhere by either, Medicare Advantage, whatever, supplement plan. Also did not get a Part D plan because they didn't know that they really needed one, just paying for those out of pocket. And so they are in a situation where now 10 years later, there's a penalty for his Part D to get him back on. But
because they just didn't know.
They didn't know, right? I wouldn't know either. If I were in my mid-30s and my husband were suddenly, disabled for injury or accident, I would have no idea. What I needed to do.
I wouldn't either. So that's why you said healthcare expert. I'd say you need a Guru extraordinaire.
I like the guru extraordinaire. I'll get that on a name tag.
Put that on your business
Yeah.
card. So the other one I had, you talking about Medicaid, right? And
Yes.
you know, it's based off your income, and you may know this, may not, but I do believe, right, there's a spend down too, right? And on the asset side of that, if you're familiar with that, I think you have to spend down within $5,000. I have to look and see what that number is, but I mean, you have to spend down your assets.
Yes.
And I do believe they have a 5-year look back as well. So you can't just say, hey, here kids, here's my, you know, inheritance, or here's your inheritance. They go back and look 5 years and say, whoa. And I say they, the government goes back and
That's an important piece, because Medicare does not pay for any sort of like long-term
correct,
care,
correct,
nursing home.
correct,
The spend down
is Medicaid.
is Medicaid.
Yeah.
So an elderly adult with needs, medical needs that are best taken care of in a facility, have to, their families sometimes are forced to spend down
Yeah.
to qualify for Medicaid to get that coverage, so that they aren't paying for that bed out of pocket.
Right.
So,
yeah.
yes.
So yeah, I thought that was the case. I just wanted to
yes.
double check on the spend down. It's been a few years since I visited with some clients about that, but I know it's out there. So okay. What else you got?
That's it. Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to keep it short, sweet, to the point.
Man, I think that was like 15 minutes. That's like a record for you.
I know. Well, you know, the
Not
last
that I'm keeping
podcast,
track.
if you watched it, was long. So I'm trying to.
Not that I keep track of your,
I think he does.
So, well, like I said, today I was going to talk about earnings growth, what we're seeing in the fourth quarter, how that's going to translate to 2026, and like I said, diversification. You know what this means. Or sorry, I got to flip my
Flip your
page.
page.
Yeah, right. So, why earnings matter. When people talk about the stock market, they tend to conversation revolves around the headlines like politics and interest rates and inflation and world events. These things can absolutely move the markets, what I like to call short term. But when you zoom out and you look at the markets over the years, over the decades, the biggest driver of the stock market is corporate earnings. I mean, that's what drives the stock market. At the end of the day, when companies make money, their value tends to increase.
That makes sense.
And if their value tends to increase, well, the stock price is going to go up as well. One of the best ways to understand, where the market might be heading is, how are businesses performing? So we'll look at kind of, 2025 and how the fourth quarter shaped up. As companies have reported their earnings for the fourth quarter, they're actually doing very well.
Okay.
So that's good. Technology companies, especially in that AI, the automation area, they've continued to show growth.
Okay.
And and consumer spending has kind of stayed resilient as well, even though we have borrowing costs are up, like interest rates are up. So borrowing costs are up, so people are paying a little bit more for things. They've stayed resilient in spending money, which helps keep that corporate profit line in the green. So that's kind of what we're are seeing there. I was going to say, not every sector, though. We talked about the technology sector's done well, but not every sector has done well. Last few years, we've really seen industrials, energy, and materials kind of struggle. And, I talked about, global events could move the markets, right? And we know as we're taping this, we're 6 days into, the U.S., Iran, Iraq, whole situation in the Middle East. And so, energy has lagged behind, but we've seen over the last few days, energy has actually, gone up. I don't know how long, that's going to be in play. I mean, that could be a short-term play. But what I want to touch on a little bit is, this is just me. This isn't me looking at some of my people that I follow. I think industrials and materials, we could really see. Everybody's always asking me, what's the next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing that's going to happen? Like with AI, everybody's like, hey, what before AI? And so I think the next play could be industrials and materials. We could probably maybe see those sectors actually move forward. And the reason I say that is because, I've talked about, I think on our podcast, is we're in the second phase of the AI boom.
Okay.
The first phase was building everything out. Now these companies, and I'm going to use Meta as an example. Right now, Meta, for those that Meta is Facebook, right? Meta is currently building data centers in Indiana, Kansas City, Texas, Ohio, and Wisconsin. And these big data centers are going to warehouse all the AI. And so they're building out these infrastructures. So I think that we will start to see industrials and materials, those type of companies will benefit from this build out. One thing it's not talked about either is clean energy, because there's not enough energy out there on the grid structure to handle these big data centers. So you got Meta who's saying, hey, look, we're going to be 100% by clean energy is what's going to run these facilities. They're going to do wind, they're going to do solar. And so I think we could see, moving forward, we could see those sectors actually playing well in the sandbox. Let's put it that way. So, and that's just me. I mean, like I said, I haven't read anything into it, but that's just me and looking, out. So, what does all this mean for 2026? There's earnings growth, like I said, has still been pretty good. I don't know that it's going to keep the same pace we've seen the last few years, but I still think that we'll see some growth in these companies. One of the first key factors is going to be interest rates. If rates stabilize, which they've kind of stabilized, or if they start coming down, that'll help corporations. They'll borrow some money to start building out maybe more of their business, buying more infrastructure, those type of things, because the costs are lower. Second all is a steady economy helps companies maintain growth. So if we can lower those rates, that'll help for them to maintain that growth and grow it, because they're adding more stuff to their existing networks. And third is productivity improvements. With technology, with AI technology, automation, that's bringing more to the bottom line. Now, we may not want to talk about that. We don't like that.
I was just I'm gonna choose not to right now, but
I will bring it up. And I'll use Amazon as an example.
Sure.
Right? Amazon has come out and said, "Hey, look, we're gonna cut 60,000 jobs, and we're going to automate a majority of that."
Yep.
Right? And so, I know exactly where you're going. Is 60,000 people just lost their jobs, right? And automation is going to take their place. Walmart recently come out and said that they're going to kind of freeze hiring.
Yeah, I'd heard that.
But whatever they need to fill, they're going to try to fill that with AI automation type stuff. So companies are starting to go that way, but that helps their bottom line. And look, when we're talking about investing and things like that, I mean, we look for companies that are profitable, and that's where we make our money. And investing is investing in companies that are profitable. So that'll take me to, that's why diversification becomes important. One of the biggest lessons we've learned is over the years is how quick the markets change, how leadership changes. Some years technology, like we're seeing now, may be the number one sector, and it has been over the last several years, but it hasn't always been that way. I recently came across a little chart, and I was going to just share some information. If we go back and look at the largest U.S. companies by market cap, so how much are they worth by decade. So if we go back to 1980, I'm just going to list.
Love the 80s.
Right?
Yep.
Love the 80s. I live in the 80s. So if we go back to the 80s, I'm going to list the top 10 companies in 1980. Okay. I'm just rattle through them real quick. IBM.
Yep.
AT&T was number 2. ExxonMobil 3. BP 4. Mobil 5. So far, a lot of energy companies.
I say, wow, there's a trend there. Okay.
GE was 6.
Yep.
Chevron was 7. Another energy. Atlantic Richfield, Arco Company, that was 8. Energy, that was an energy company that BP would originally, or in the future, buy. Texaco Energy.
How much was gas in the 80s? Like, what was going on?
The 80s was, there was, you had the gas lines in the 70s. And then Procter & Gamble was 10.
Okay.
So But if we fast forward to 1990, how many of those companies in the 80s were in the top 10 in 1990?
Two.
6.
Oh.
So we had 6 of them.
Okay.
So you had Exxon, GE, IBM, AT&T, and BP were still in that top 10.
Okay.
Fast forward to 2000, how many of those original are now in the top 10?
2. I like 2.
3.
Dang it, I was going to go with 3.
3. I meant you had GE still,
Okay.
Exxon, and IBM was still in there. 2010, we had 5 that were still on
we
that.
had some resurfacing.
We had some resurfacing, so they came back in. You're exactly right. And then 2020, so that's just a few years ago, starting out. How many of the original? Can you go back to 1980? Were still in there?
None.
We had 5.
Dang it.
Yeah, we had 5.
I'm a terrible guesser.
So
terrible guesser.
yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, look, what.
So what are the constants? Like, what is the recurring theme? Is it energy?
Well, energy, I meant it's funny you brought that up because I broke that out. I said Exxon, if you look at the 4 decades there, Exxon was in there 4 out of 5 years.
Okay.
IBM, 4 out of 5 years. GE, 3 out of 5. Microsoft, 3 out of 5. And then we've got Walmart, 3 out of 5.
Okay.
So
I was wondering what happened to Microsoft.
Yep.
We didn't talk about them.
Well, Microsoft,
surely they have to be.
Microsoft came in the 2000s.
Okay.
That's when they became one of the top
Yep.
10. So they've been in there actually every year since. So last 3 decades, they've stayed in there. So that's why diversification matters, because what's hot today, 10 years from now, because the markets are continually changing. So.
Well, and Brian and I learned a tough lesson about diversifying and choosing not to, right? Like you helped us this year move some stuff that had been in the same place doing the same thing forever. Times had changed. It was time to move it. And we probably should have done it a little bit sooner.
Right.
But there's time to recover, and we feel much better about where that money is now. Right. Compared to
where
it was on a sinking ship.
Another way to think about diversification is you don't always want to hit home runs, or it's just about not the big strikeouts, right? And so instead of we don't want to strike out with the bases loaded. I know we know the analogy when it comes to
you do not want to do that. That is a big mad clap from Brian. It's just one really loud clap.
Especially looking. We never want to strike out looking.
That's it. You're done. Toast.
Sorry, baseball, softball people here.
Nobody gets to eat dinner tonight.
Nope, right. It's just about avoiding the big strikeouts, right? Now, diversification isn't going to, totally get you out of, some downtimes in the market. But it just, like I said, it's if we can reduce the big strikeouts to smaller strikeouts, then, it becomes a little easier pill to swallow.
Yep.
So, so some of the key takeaways from today, it's going to be, corporate earnings remain strong. So we still see 2026, being, we think, positive, and we think there's still some volatility in there. Obviously, with what we've got going on the last 6 days, there's been a little bit of volatility in the market. Fourth quarter order, can't even talk about earnings. Earnings reports, they're still growing and adapting, and the outlooks through 2026 still, like I said, seem pretty promising.
Good.
So, but that's kind of where we kind of see the markets heading in 2026.
So I do have one question.
Yep.
You said industrials and materials are related to the AI. You mean these are actually the materials they are using to construct these data centers?
Correct.
Okay.
That is right. It's the widgets that companies are making that those buildings need, right? And so we'll see I think a boom from some of those companies that are making those widgets for those buildings.
Right. And there's, I think Independence just approved one.
I saw that too. I haven't read into that. I saw something about that. That was just this week.
This week.
As we're recording this. So
it'll be, I think, some of the questions that were asked were like, the energy drain on.
On the grid.
On the grid and the drain on water, right?
Yeah.
If there were to be a fire, the amount of water
it takes to hit those.
So it was just, there were some really interesting questions about it. I've heard.
Never thought about the water part.
The water part is big. The noise level is big. So I do know. I think there's another one. I think possibly being approved out on the Kansas side somewhere.
Oh, really?
So they're definitely
Yeah.
They are popping up.
Right.
To me, AI is like gluten. I don't really know what it is.
Right, exactly.
Or what it does,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's using it.
everybody, yeah,
Yep, right.
right.
Yeah.
We're staying away from
Yeah.
gluten, but we're bringing in AI.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So we talked about curling earlier, right?
Yep.
So
What you
I was
got?
gonna
Trivia.
I'm gonna give you a
Trivia.
little
Ask me how
strong.
much a stone weighs. I know.
How much?
Between 43 and 45 pounds.
You're right in between.
44.
44 pounds. So all 64 of the curling stones used at the 2026 Olympics were sourced from Alasia Craig. I don't know if I'm probably saying that wrong out there.
Let me see this word. Huh. That looks good to me. My bourbon brain went to Elijah Craig, and I was like, yes, please.
No. This is an uninhabited island off the coast of Scotland.
That makes sense. Okay.
They weigh 44 pounds at a cost of roughly $1,000 each. The microgranite stones are perfectly smooth, yet extra dense to handle the constant high-impact collision during gameplay.
Love it.
So all those stones came from one place.
Fascinating.
Yep, it is. So, well, that's all I've got for today. So I know we close here, and I know Chris, I think, is here. So Tara and I will close real quick here, and then we'll get Chris mic'd up and get him on the set here. So Tara, what events do we have coming up in April?
Boy, April was tough for some reason. Yeah, April was tough. If you're anything like me, I'm just looking for things to get me outside and in the sunshine.
Yep.
I did find out, so Blue Springs Parks and Rec, pardon me, a lot of their leagues start in April. So really? Whether it's youth league, adult league, so that's softball, pickleball, t-ball, all sorts of stuff starts in April. Okay. So if you're probably seeing this in April. You may, I don't know if you can still get on a league or not, but just logging onto the Blue Springs Park and Rec website and seeing what's going on, you could always find something to do. And it's all levels, right? So we talk like they've got beginner pickleball, they've got competitive. So they have a great women's softball league Tuesday nights out here.
I think I know somebody that plays in that league.
I play Monday night.
Monday
that
nights,
Tuesday league is no joke. The girls are younger and way better than I am, so I steer clear of that league. You guys, the 15th of April is tax day.
Tax day.
Sorry about that.
When is that? Is that all during the week?
I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
No clue.
Yeah.
Yes is my guess, because Green Up the Blue is on the 18th. So that is your opportunity to get out and help clean up our community. It is all ages. You can register day of at 8:30 out at Pink Hill Park.
Okay.
And you could be assigned to different cleanup crews. The idea is just to kind of get out. It's around Earth Day, so get out, clean up our space and our community and make it look better. 4/19, that's one big weekend. I think this is all around Earth Day. Is the Save the Bees beer release at East 40. They'll also have a vendor market. So they'll even have like pollination information set up in the tap room. I think
kind of interesting.
I know I have a friend that went to beekeeping school.
There's a school for beekeeping?
I believe it was over the summer at maybe Johnson County Community College. But yeah, you can actually learn to be a beekeeper.
Well, that's kind of cool.
I also learned yesterday you can go to Farrier
School, right?
Or something, yeah.
Yep,
and Eric told me about that.
Yep. For those of you who don't know, Farrier is horseshoeing.
Right. And then the last thing, so I know I spoke a couple of months ago about the Titanic exhibit down at Union Station. Yep. The last day that it is here is the 19th of April. So if you haven't gone out to see it and it's something you want to do, make sure you go and buy tickets online at Union Station and get yourself out there.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we're starting to see some more events pop up. I know February.
Yeah, the weather will turn. So
February, March, there wasn't much going on.
Nope. So we'll get there though.
We'll get there. So. Well, that puts kind of a wrap on just Tara and I, but we're going to jump off here, get the mayor mic'd up, and then we're going to jump right back on here and finish up with the mayor. So stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We got Chris all mic'd up and ready to go.
I'm ready.
So, Chris, thanks for joining us today. I know you got a busy schedule, and so thanks for taking a few minutes to come in and sit down on our
I
podcast.
appreciate you being here. My second time on the podcast.
Well,
so
you just
excited
stole
to.
my-
Oh
you just
no!
stole my
Okay, I'm
thunder.
sorry. I wasn't given a script ahead of time, so I didn't know.
I was going to say
apologize.
congratulations. You're our
Well,
first returning guest.
All right, I did not know that. So that's
Yeah.
man, that's high praise.
Yeah.
I
Go
mean,
ahead and pencil us in for next year.
Okay,
around the same
okay.
time.
Just make it an annual recurring
Yep.
thing. I like it. I'm ready.
You
I'm ready.
got it. So, yeah, thanks for coming back. I guess we didn't scare you off. I mean,
No.
yeah, it was actually the public, right? They were the ones screaming to bring Chris back. Our viewers are like, bring
Okay.
Chris back.
Yeah.
Back by public demand.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
So, but yeah, once again, thanks for coming. But I was able to sit in at the chamber luncheon. You did your State of the City address. Some exciting news. I didn't share it with Tara, but in our monologue, I was like, "There's some great things coming to Blue Springs. Some great things have happened in Blue Springs over the last years." So I guess I'll kind of give you the platform here to kind of fill us in on what happened in 25, what's coming up in 26, and just anything you'd like to talk about.
Yeah, well, the State of the City is a great opportunity for the council and myself to kind of be transparent, to be accountable to the residents. And so a lot of great things to talk about, as you said, that have accomplished in 25 and equally exciting things coming in 2026. I'd say if I'm hitting the highlights, the big things are a lot of focus on street maintenance. We've heard for several years, every citizen survey we've ever done has said street maintenance, sidewalks, traffic congestion should be a priority. And so really in the last couple of years, the City Council has focused a lot on that. There was a bond issue in August of 2024 that the residents supported with about 75%. And so what we did in 2025 was spend about half of that money and got 52 miles of street maintenance that were complete. Those are streets in neighborhoods, much needed. And so in 2026, we're spending the second half of that bond money, about 7 or 8 million left over. And then we have an annual contribution to street maintenance that's in the budget anyway. That plus a few capital programs will have about 13 million in just street maintenance alone. And that will be about 110 miles.
Oh,
and so,
wow.
Yeah.
That's in 26?
That's in 2026.
Oh,
So
wow.
this calendar year, that will get done. And so that's big roads that we hear a lot about. 15th Street, 19th Street, South Outer Road. Even R.D. Mize, probably Woods Chapel from 40 to I-70, parts of Adamsbury Parkway. The roads that we hear a lot from residents. And so in addition to that, there'll be just street neighborhood as well, and so that'll be great. So big accomplishment focus on street maintenance over the years.
Yeah, it's funny because on Facebook I was looking, and they're clearing the woods behind because they're in Woods Chapel. I don't know if that's the owner doing that. I don't think the city has anything to do with that. But one of the complaints I saw there was, why are they clearing this? They should be focusing on the roads. And I'm like, do you not listen? They must not pay attention to what's going on in the city.
I think the conversation has changed a little bit. In the past, it's been, do something with the darn roads. And now it's really more do something with my road because people do see street maintenance happening. It's just not happening on their road yet. I think this year will even be more, almost double what we did last year. And it will be on a lot of those collector streets, heavily traveled streets. And so I think it'll be much more evident that's progress is happening. So still some backlog to work on, still some effort and attention from the City Council. One other thing we did actually towards the end of 24 was we have a pavement management plan, which is a 20-year plan to keep us on a reoccurring cycle of pavement maintenance so we don't get back in the same situation again. We've never had a forward-looking, regularly plan for street maintenance. And so that will hopefully not only allow us to progress quicker, but keep us on track in the future as well.
So. Getting behind.
And to address the Woods Chapel clearing, yes, so the property owner has put that property for sale. They seem to be clearing it to make it more marketable. And so that property has been zoned general business since about 2008 when the improvements to Woods Chapel occurred, when 36th Street was put there as well, back where Quick Trip and CVS are. So when all of that was done, that area actually had some financial incentives that are still in existence and rezone for general business.
Yeah.
So no development plans that the city's aware of, but there is some activity that has got some attention. So
for a couple of people that live over there, who do we need to know to get a grocery store?
I have the fortune to have represented that area of town as a city council member, and the grocery store has been on the list for years. I personally know of planning commissioners and myself who have made phone calls over the years. But I do think there is, as the city has looked at it, there does seem to be evidence of some grocery store leakage, some sales tax leakage. And so I think we have more data to maybe push some of those grocers. Grocery in Blue Springs has been a saga over the years. There did used to be a grocery store there 30, 40 years ago. Yes, an IGA. And maybe there's an opportunity to do that again. So it's on our list. We continue to push for it. Just don't have anything to announce today. So.
In the words
unfortunately,
of Jim Carrey, you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. That I mean, in the world of economic development, you're saying there's a chance is about. It's really bigger than you think it is. There's always an opportunity to push that envelope. So yes, absolutely.
Well, I think that's exciting on the roads. I meant, I hear you. You hear it all the time. We want the roads fixed, and now we're doing it. So that's awesome. Something else you talked about too, and I didn't really think much about this, but the sidewalk inland. You were talking about how you guys were taking, the sidewalk ended here and it ended here and there was nothing in between.
Right.
You guys went in and I think, did some work there as well. And
so a lot of good stuff on sidewalks in town. So this goes back several years as well. When I was first elected on the council, the code said that the sidewalk maintenance was the responsibility of the property owner.
Right.
And so the homeowner was supposed to go out there and fix that sidewalk in front of their house. Reality was that really never happened. And so still several years ago, 12 years ago, the council took that over. And same thing with the roads. It's progress to try to make the maintenance. But something we did identify was gaps in the system that, you would have a sidewalk end on this property and this one never got developed. So then there's just a grass field. And it's hard to walk and do that. So we spent, I want to say about $400,000 over 2 years. Got about 2 miles of sidewalk, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that was about 30 projects of somewhere there's a gap infill. The other big thing about sidewalks is several years ago we had a grant from Mid-America Regional Council to put sidewalks from Pink Hill down to Jefferson, the north side. And so there's a sidewalk all along 7 Highway from Pink Hill South. We have another grant now from Mid-America Regional Council. It's a matching grant. The city has to put in funds to go now from Jefferson to 40 Highway.
Oh, wow.
And so that we've received that grant. They started doing right-of-way acquisition last year. And so that construction should start this year, probably end of this year, into next year. So it'll be a sidewalk from Jefferson to 40. And now we're currently applying for another grant to get from then 40 Highway down to Moreland. And in process of that too. So over the next several years, hopefully there will be sidewalks from Pink Hill to Moreland School Road along 7 Highway. So.
7 Highway, okay. I was trying to, when you were talking Jefferson, Jefferson's the outer road.
It's the north outer road is Jefferson,
east of 7 Highway, right?
Yeah, I think both. I think Jefferson is still.
It's on the west side.
I think it's both sides,
Okay. All right. Oh,
so exciting stuff with sidewalks as well, making the city more walkable and great opportunities to do that. So.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. One thing that I think you brought this up. Maybe even at your first State of the City address, and I didn't even realize it was there. There's a park behind the old Railroad Museum, and you guys are, I see you guys. The city is now trying to, rejuvenate that or make it a park
Yeah, technically that is called Central Park, and it has been for a long time. It's an undeveloped park, I think it's a technical term. The train depot was moved there several years ago, and the community garden is kind of there with the parking lot. So there has been some attention, not just in developing Central Park, but it's part of the broader downtown redevelopment plan. Central Park, interest in having some green space, some area where residents and people coming downtown can hang out and just be a draw for the area. So what will happen this year is the City Council has already approved the contract for a trail. There's a pond behind the depot.
I didn't even know that.
Yes,
I've been back there.
It's been hidden by trees and tough to see. Actually, the beavers have taken care of some of the trees actually. But the trail will be on the north side behind the pond, have a loop and then come back. And so that has been funded, and we've already awarded the contract. They'll start clearing trees here soon. And so by the end of the year, there should be a paved track, a trail around that pond. In the future, what we hope to do with it is, yes, develop it more. Put a playground equipment, a bathroom, a shelter. There's plans to even maybe move the community garden at some point and make that area some green space and benches and picnic tables and that kind of thing to hang out. So lots of future plans. We still have to find ways to fund those, but great opportunity to make that a gathering space for downtown.
Yeah.
So there is a geocache hidden back there. Do you know what geocaching is?
Yes.
Does that have like the Pokemon or?
I mean, it's actually not too far off.
No, I don't know what that is.
I don't know how to describe so geocaching, and I'll make this as short as possible. So people go out and they like hide. We're going to call them treasure boxes.
Right.
And so you take and leave trinkets out of this box, but it's an app you can use, and then you follow the clues to find the boxes. And there's one hidden back there. That's why I've been back in those woods. I won't tell you what else I found.
Oh, I don't want to know what you found.
So I'm ready for them to go ahead and get started.
They may need to move the geocache, depending on where it is, or it's about to get torn down.
Probably. I don't know. Like, I think developing that would be good for the, and that's all part of the downtown, like all of the things and the big downtown plan. That is part of it.
So City Council passed a master plan, which I probably talked about last year because it was in March of ~24. But again, what will happen in '26 is progress on the streetscape. Part of that August '24 bond issue was $5 million to implement the plans for downtown. And so Main Street from 7th Highway to 15th will look entirely different. I think that went out to bid just last week, and so that construction should start in May once it's awarded and have a plan in place. So right now the plan is to start on the 15th Street side and kind of work our way down. We've of course been talking to the chamber and others about Fall Fun Fest and how to make sure those business owners can stay open through construction and have access. And so we've been having those meetings for months.
And so you've done a good job with that, because I know quite a few business owners going along there, and the communication has been really good and involving them and making sure they understand what's going to happen. So that part has been nice. And I think everybody's looking forward to some changes downtown. I know there used to be this, chicken and egg, right? What comes first? And I feel like we have had just business owners that want to be downtown, choosing to be downtown. And so I think it sounds like we're solving our chicken and egg problem, and really everyone's excited to be able to hang out downtown and see what happens down there.
Well, I've given credit several times. I did the State of the City too. There's been a lot of effort to try to redevelop downtown for decades, going back 30 years. And I think everyone assumes because they aren't where we want to be yet that those things were unsuccessful. There was a lot of progress that was made in those times, and we're kind of building off of that. But I think what's unique now is there's kind of this perfect accumulation of everybody moving in the same direction. So members of the city council are on board, and that's why you see so much public investment. The residents have seen other communities, what their downtowns can look like, and so they're encouraging that investment, and you have the property owners and business owners really stepping up to do it as well. I think there's been pieces of that over those years, some more than others, but now I think everybody's on board and really making some progress. So another big thing for downtown was the purchase of that property on 11th Street in Maine that includes the parking lot behind the building.
Oh, yes.
And so that's already open public parking right there by the police station, and so that's been big as well.
I think a lot of people don't know that they can park there.
Well, you never have been able to.
You haven't been able to until...
Yes, until we purchased it a few months ago. So there's public parking signs up. It's available. It's being used. But great opportunity to improve the public parking, especially for one that has had this lure of not being able to park there for 10, 15 years. It's been a while.
You can now park
You can park,
there.
yes. That lot is public property and ready to park. So.
That's awesome. You were talking about a little bit downtown. Let's talk the former Baptist church and the city owns. I think we talked about that last time you were on too. Any progress on anything on that? Or? Yeah,
so where that currently is now, the city did a request for proposal, an RFP, I think at the end of December. That has a 90-day deadline, so that should expire sometime here in March. I don't know the exact day, but we should have all those proposals in this month. And then the next step will be, just as with the lumberyard property, We'll have to review them,
Right.
see if there's a plan that's consistent with what we think it should be. It should
yeah.
look like, and
Yeah.
go from there. So
Yeah.
I don't know what proposals we've had or how many or even what they look like, but at the end of that
Then you-
deadline, we'll be able to review those, and
Yeah.
hopefully we get something we can move forward with. There's nothing that says we have to move forward with any of those proposals, but if it's something we think is consistent with the downtown plan,
Yeah.
then we are able to do that. So.
You brought up the lumberyard, the old
Yeah.
lumberyard area. Is there any movement on anything there? Or?
So the city council has identified a developer based on one of those RFPs.
Okay.
So we've in talks now with them. The next step is a finance plan is essentially what it is. So a gap between what they think they can afford to develop
Right.
and whether there's any incentives we're willing to do. And so those agreements are being talked right now. Not complete yet,
Nothing.
but
Hopefully.
once we can get that done, then hopefully things will move pretty
Move
quick
quickly.
after that. So
Okay.
yeah, so what that looks like is a mixed-use development of some apartments and retail on the Main Street side on the first floor. That's currently what's proposed and identified, but we got to get through the money part of it.
Right.
So.
See,
Yeah.
see if it fits. So, one thing, I look at some numbers. I'm a numbers person, right?
he
And
is.
so
Not you, Eric.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
he
So,
is.
one thing that caught my eyes is overall crime incidents over the last
Yeah.
3 years. They've come down.
Well,
know.
at least last year to this year
Last
they
year
come down.
did.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
The year they went up and then it went down. But,
Yeah.
but not a huge
Sure.
spike. But you guys have hired like some new officers and over the last couple of years, I think you've hired, 14 in 24, and you hired another 9 in 2025. And
Yeah. So that's something else we heard from residents. It's not just Blue Springs.
Of course.
Police officers in general, there was
Correct.
a deficiency. So we were
Correct.
down at some point, I think, almost 18 officers. We have 101 sworn officers. So that's a pretty significant
that's pretty
percentage
good,
of
yeah.
our force. So there's a lot of effort to increase those numbers. The 14 that we hired and the 9 we hired last year doesn't include then those that have retired and since then. So it's not like we have 23 more than we
right.
did 2 years ago, but it's pretty
Makes
close to
sense.
that.
Yeah.
So we're only 2 or 3 officers down from full force. But yes, that has meant a lot more attention for prevention and addressing crime in the community. So we've already kind of seen those numbers reflected in just 1 year. Hopefully that trend continues. I think what the residents have felt over the years is really there was a bump. Again, not just Blue Springs, but nationwide after COVID. I don't know if people just weren't acting as well or they didn't think they were going to get caught or what, but so that trend has really started coming down from that COVID bump 5 years ago. And so we still have some work to do,
Yeah.
but I think they're starting to get addressed. So.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
I always like to see that.
Yeah.
Crime. Like you said, it's everywhere. But
Yes.
we like to be safe.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, a couple of fun facts you threw out, like snow removal. I saw
Yeah.
2,620 tons of treated salt.
That's a lot of salt.
That's
yeah.
a lot of salt.
That's a lot of salt.
So,
I will say, so with this
yeah,
last
I know where you're going.
snowstorm,
yeah.
we got out and our side streets in Blue Springs were better than 40 and 7.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that told me, because the city does not control what
Right.
happens on
Right.
40 and 7,
So,
just so everybody knows.
So everybody
Yeah.
knows that, right? 40
Right,
and
that
7
is
is
not,
not
If you
Blue
haven't
that is
heard
not
it.
mayor. Do not call
Yeah,
mayor
yeah,
about
yeah.
40 and 7.
Sure.
Yeah.
But once I got on side streets,
Yeah.
I mean, the city was all over it, and so I was really impressed, and it was notable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I think they did a
they have
great
always
job.
done a great job. Public Works kills it in snow removal here in Blue
Yeah.
Springs.
Yeah.
One thing that is new to our snow removal that we just started last year was there is actually a tracker, for lack of a better term, for our snow plows. So on the city's website, there's a map,
saw it,
and
yeah.
you can see. It's not live, it's got some delay, but you
Right.
can see within a certain amount of time when the trucks were last on your street or the streets of the city. And so as long as everything's operational, you can see when the trucks have been there and where they're headed and what area they're working and that kind of thing. So
I live Blue Springs address.
Yeah, Eric and I both are
okay.
in this situation.
Independence,
yeah,
services.
right.
I would, if I was to look at the Independence map, I wouldn't see anything on my street.
Well,
So,
It's snow removal is one of those. It's hard because people expect service in a short amount of time, and sometimes There's a lot of miles of road for
I-
those 12 trucks to hit,
Yeah.
and so I still think they do a great job. But
I'm not knocking Blue Springs.
oh
I'm
no,
not
no.
knocking Blue Springs.
I'm so far on the outer edge, we usually don't even get snow removal. on
Well,
that
that's what I'm saying.
side.
This last
Yeah.
one, we didn't even have anybody
Yeah,
come through.
we usually
So-
don't. So we're digging ourselves
Yeah.
out, but that's fine too.
Yeah.
I have a neighbor who
Because that's one thing.
has a
My-
snowplow, so we end up okay.
My
But
wife would go, "How are the streets?" I said, "Well, getting out of ours is horrible.
that's always
Blue
saying, gotta
Springs is
get out of
fine."
mine.
So.
And
Once
I've
you
got
get on
nothing
the-
but hills to get out
Yeah,
of my
I know.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
then that makes it even worse.
Yeah,
But
even worse. So, one thing I've been kind of saving it, for last, but I haven't quite got there yet. But some other things maybe coming up. I know you've got some road improvement, like on Adamsdale. I think you're going to do some stuff.
Yeah.
Or,
So part of the bond issue, so in addition to just street maintenance, there are other capital road projects happening.
Yeah.
So part of the bond issue included a right turn lane, Adams Dairy Parkway turning east onto Duncan Road.
Yeah.
that'll be a help.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
if
way
you've ever
the
been stuck out there.
yes, exactly. There's only 2 lanes, and if somebody's going straight, it backs everything up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's already the contract's been awarded. So waiting for that construction to begin. Wyatt Road East, it's been being engineered for a couple of years now, and they're ready to finally move on that. So 7 West on Wyatt got done last year, so now this
Okay.
will be east to Adams Dairy. And so that would be great for that area. It's a growing area of town, so a lot of progress there.
Yeah, a lot going south of Blue Springs.
Yep.
Out in that area.
One other project includes the construction of 12th Street. So there's a road, there's no road existing currently, but it will connect Wyatt Road west of 7 Highway to Southgate subdivision.
Okay, yeah.
So that's where
yeah.
the Southern Jackson County Fire Protection District has got a Station 3 there on Wyatt West.
Yeah.
And so this road will kind of come to the west of their new station. I say new station, it's been there 2 or 3 years, but
Yeah.
their station. So.
Is that Southgate? Is that stoplight on way south 7? Is that Southgate to the right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
Yep. So there will be a road that will connect. 12th Street will continue now into that field.
Into that
Oh,
It'll
field.
okay.
connect
I
to
know
Wyatt.
exactly what you're
So
talking about.
Yeah.
right about Blue Springs Christian Church, the
Yep.
church
Yeah.
with the big roof. It'll
Yeah.
go behind
I'm
that.
behind there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then that will allow for the construction of Southwest Park, which city owns property there. That will kind of be in that area. So.
Yeah.
I was going to ask for an update on that because I
Yeah.
knew there was something going in down there.
So I think that's kind
That's
of
your- that's on your list. I don't wanna- I'm getting ahead of you, so.
Right? No, the new and exciting stuff. Let's jump into that. I mean, that was something I thought that was great because parks are people after roads. It's probably parks, right?
Sure.
That's the places to go. I think that's some exciting news, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice big park coming in.
Yeah.
South.
Yeah, this park will be a regional draw to the area.
Yes.
The contracts for some of the parts of it have already been awarded, but construction will start at the end of 26, start clearing the area around it. But yeah, this is going to include a lodge style community space that will be able to
okay.
sit 250, 300 people. Will be designed to allow for weddings and those kind of events out there. The playground, one of the unique things of it, will have a walking trail that will be in the trees, so like a 2-story walking trail walking
Very
through the
cool.
trees that will connect to the playground. The slide is going to be, I don't remember, something like 4 stories tall or something. So it's going to be an amazing playground equipment, just amenities for the park. Some other things they're looking at are splash pads and even like a green event space will kind of almost be set up like an amphitheater, trails and everything. So it'll
Wow.
be an amazing park for not only South Blue Springs, but just the community in general.
Yeah.
So.
That's great.
Yeah, I thought that was great. You talking about the building, where you can house 250 to 300 people. That's great. Like you said, weddings and wedding receptions, and
Yeah,
any
great
big ones.
opportunity there. So
Yeah.
a lot of great space.
Yeah.
50th birthday parties.
Well,
We'll
I
have
thought-
one of those in like a year.
Yeah, probably
I
completion
don't
is
know
looking
if
to
we're 50
spring of 28, about 2 years from
Oh,
now.
we'll miss
So,
it. We'll miss it. No.
Maybe into 28 somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's what the expectation is. So
Really
Yeah.
fun stuff.
But-
Yeah,
Good.
great. Yeah.
yeah.
I think unless I missed something there, is there anything else you'd like to kind of add, or
Oh, just in general?
Yeah, just in general, anything.
no.
Doesn't have
Since
to be
he
about-
tried to just steal your thunder and tell you what
No,
to talk
that's
about.
great.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
free reign
So,
for you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
No, I think City Council's been focused on a lot of good things in the last couple of years, been making some progress on what we've heard the residents say for a long time that they want to see, and so it's good to hear from the residents, help make that progress. One of the other things I guess worth mentioning is we also passed a strategic plan at the end of last year, and that was again a long effort to hear from the residents what they want the city to look like for the next 3 to 5 years especially. So that document's on the website. That we'll use that as a roadmap, but also accountability to actually get those things done. What we started this year is a comprehensive plan, and so that we haven't had a new comprehensive plan since about 2014. That specifically focused more on like the land use planning, so what we want certain areas of town to look like, what the residents want, this property or this area to be developed as.
Right.
And so we really helped the city council focus on some of those planning for housing and businesses and that type of thing in the future. So that process has started. It will pretty much take all of this year till the end of 2026, and then we'll have this new comprehensive plan to really focus on the type of development residents want. So it'll be exciting.
Mayor, you said something about the website, and I heard the website's changing.
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
Yeah.
That is worth mentioning, isn't it? So yeah, really here in just a few weeks, April 1st, which is April Fool's Day. But
it's not a
we
joke.
keep insisting this is not a joke. So yes, for as long as we've had a website, it's been bluespringsgov.com. There's a lot of reasons why .gov provides some more protections for cities and that sort of thing. But bluespringsmo.gov will start in April 1st, and so that will change the website and the domain name and emails and all that. So that rollout will happen here in the next few weeks. Part of our broader focus on community identity, trying to communicate what makes Blue Springs unique, identifiable, and so all those things from communications to websites and all that, we're really putting a lot of effort in to really make Blue Springs stand out. So,
Right.
Awesome.
So we're what, midterm for you?
yeah, right. April will be 2 years since I was elected mayor. Obviously, a long time on the council before that, but really had focus on leadership in those areas. And I think the city council has really stepped up in a big way to make this stuff happen. I think there's a lot for the residents to be proud of.
I was going to ask, in the 2 years, is there something, a project, something that's been accomplished that maybe you're most proud of? And it doesn't have to be your, I mean, I realize it takes a village, right? It's everybody, but what would you say you're most proud of in the last 2 years?
No, I think really what I'm most proud of in the last 2 years is how we've worked together to accomplish those things we've heard the residents say. So I always joked before, as a city councilman, my biggest accomplishment was a stop sign on Main Street. It took so long. Some of those things are harder to accomplish when the engineering and all that makes that. But no, I think I believe we are doing what the residents are telling us we want us to accomplish, and so I think that's positive, and there's a lot to look forward to, a lot moving in that direction, and so we will continue to do that.
I did told somebody yesterday that I'm having the mayor on my podcast today, and he goes, "Can you ask the mayor about?"
That's my favorite question.
Right, yes, the mayor. Right, but I mean, it focuses around the Blue Springs Theater because they've lost. They were at Miller 8, and they've lost that, and they're sharing space. Is there anything that in the works or anything that's been talked about of like just the Blue Springs Theater at all? I mean, is there a way to?
Yeah, so nothing specifically. I know they've always been part of the conversations when what we're also working on now is a new Parks Master Plan, or even when we had the downtown plan, there was some interest in a community performance space of some kind. So no specific plans in place, but it's always on the radar of looking for opportunities, not just for Blue Springs Theater, but there's the Heritage Philharmonic, there's Blue Springs Ballet, there's all sorts of, if we had a space that not even, that was necessarily owned by the city, but just a community space to do,
could be used.
I think it would be beneficial for the community. So always looking for ways to improve those amenities. So.
Okay. I didn't, you mentioned the Blue Springs Ballet, they do the Nutcracker every year, right? I didn't realize they go to Liberty to perform the Nutcracker.
Do they really?
Yeah, because we don't have this a community style space.
Right.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I
Yeah,
mean, we
so
brought it up before.
I didn't know that either. I was like, oh, that's going on in Liberty. I had no idea. So,
Okay.
hot seat?
Well, I think so. A hot seat. I know the last time you were on.
Okay,
Your
I'm
hot seat,
ready.
I don't know if you remember the hot seat question.
Seat's always hot where I sit. So
Right.
that's
it was Valentine's, around Valentine's Day. last time we
okay,
had you on.
okay,
So
yes.
I think it was
Past Valentine's Day now,
Yeah,
so
so it was like chocolates or flowers. And so
Gotcha.
Tara came up with the hot seat question to ask you.
Starting to
so
sweat
we
already,
actually
so-
talked. No, it's an
Yeah.
easy one.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier. So the Olympics, Winter Olympics
yeah.
just finished,
Yeah.
right? Are you a Summer Olympics guy or a Winter Olympics guy?
That is a good question. So I would say only because it just happened, the Winter Olympics. It was very so in my house. The Olympics, as soon as they start, the TV is on nonstop. So,
Okay.
so
You
watched,
did way better than we
Yeah,
did.
right.
No, we watched all of the skating, the
Okay.
ice dancing, all of the
Okay.
the luge and the bobsled and snowboarding and the skis with the moguls. We watched it all. So,
Really?
So and then you watch it during the day. It's the same thing on at night. So
Yeah.
we're all about the Olympics, but I think the Summer Olympics will be equally exciting. So lots of good things happening.
So I feel like Mayor just gave us the most politically correct answer about the Olympics ever. He likes them both, you guys.
Right.
The
You
mayor
know,
likes
what
them
is there
both.
not to be excited
Yeah.
about?
That is so
yeah.
true.
Right.
So true.
So we I asked Tara this, and so if you had to say, okay, I'm sitting down and I'm watching what? I mean, if what do you all enjoy sitting down and watching?
So Olympics related or just
Yeah,
in general?
like the Winter Olympics.
Winter
Winter
Olympics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what was your sport this year?
Yeah.
Curling? You a big curling guy?
Well, so I got to do curling at the
Yeah,
Kansas City
Kid-
Curling
Oh,
Club
we
in
were
Blue
just
Spring.
talking
So
about
that was fun. It was
Yeah.
my first time, and it was fun. I've always said curling is the only event that at my age I could still be an Olympian, and so I keep threatening to my wife I'm gonna just throw it all away
Right,
and start
go
trying to be a
curling.
curler.
Yeah.
But no, the ice skating of some kind is usually pretty interesting, and we heard all the news of Quad God and all that, and all the French judge that ruined it for the ice dancers. And I mean, we're all in.
You're
on
all
it. So
into that.
I don't think I can express to you how much we watch the Olympics.
Okay.
But one of the interesting thing about it is my wife and I went actually with a conference to Salt Lake City, and we got to go to where the 2002 Winter Olympics were, where the bobsled and the ski jump and all that were, and they are going to use that space again in the 2034 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. So we've been where the Olympics are going to
that's
happen
neat.
here in a few years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took pictures of the bobsled and
Yeah.
at the ski jumps and all that. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's
awesome.
cool.
So.
Yeah, I'm a speed skate. I love the old
Oh, yeah, the
short
speed skating are
track.
fun.
Short track, man. It's all out war. It's all
Yeah.
that, so.
Some of those are the strategy behind them is always
Right.
interesting. You just watch the ones where it's just a mass of
Massive
people.
bunch, yeah.
and
One
they all
goes down, they all go down, So.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I can't figure out who decided, and I don't know the name of the one that involves, the sled, but yet the two people.
That's-
Oh,
laying on
yeah.
top of
Two-person
one
luge.
another.
That was just I think two-person luge. I
Like,
think
that
is
is
what
a
it is, yeah.
weird.
They have a little clip that keeps them on.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? What?
I've seen. I've seen some pictures that looks like they have a little almost carabiner that clips onto their belt or something to hold on, but I don't know.
I never noticed. Once again, we were talking about it a little bit before you jumped on. Every time I turn it on, it's like I missed whatever. Because I like the luge and the bobsled and
Yeah.
all that, but I just never did see it. So, but interesting. So.
It's the time difference that kills it for me. And I don't watch a lot of
Yeah.
TV at night. Well,
Right.
actually, I just don't watch a lot of TV, to be really honest with you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't have it turned on in the morning, so I was missing. Then at night, we were busy. So I told
Yeah.
Eric, I made sure I watched the gold match for the men's hockey because I'm
Yeah.
a big hockey
Oh yes,
fan.
that was great.
And so that was fun. But yeah, other than that, I kind of missed it this year. So I'll have to.
The hard part is everything happens during the day,
Day,
and if you're
right.
going to watch it at night, you have spoiler alerts.
Right,
you can't
exactly.
let
That's so
who got gold. You gotta
Right.
you gotta not watch
Look
anything.
away.
From
Yeah,
it.
it
Not be on
comes-
Facebook. Nothing.
Right, comes up on your phone. Oh, we got gold. Wow, well,
Right.
spoiled that.
Ruined it, I know.
Spoiled that. So yeah. So, all right. Anything
No,
else?
Mayor,
Anything
we
else?
just always
Yeah,
appreciate you
absolutely.
coming
Enjoy.
in, and
Yeah.
it's more people will watch this one than all the others
Well,
all year long.
all
So
we-
it works.
I guess what I would add is all the city council members, myself, always looking for feedback from residents. Our contact information is on the city's website. My last name's hard to spell, so I had them create even another email that's just mayor@bluespringsgov.com.
Good
so
idea.
that'll come to me. The city council members are normal people. I don't know if people realize that. They're approachable. They want to talk to you. They want to hear from residents. So any feedback you want to provide, we're eager to listen. So.
Okay. Well, we appreciate, like Tara said, we
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming on. Really do. We know you're a busy man. I know you're between meetings today, so we had you for a short amount of time, and we appreciate it. So.
Well, thanks for having me, and I'll pencil you in for next year.
All right.
Perfect.
Sounds good. Well,
Wrap it up.
I think that puts a wrap
Yep.
on this episode. Thank you for tuning in to episode 18. If you're new here, thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to catch some of our older podcasts, you can catch them over on YouTube at ECS Capital Investments. Once again, Chris, thanks for joining us today. Tara, thanks.
I'll be back.
You'll be back? All right, so you'll be back. So that puts a wrap on episode 18. We'll see you next month when we actually have Dr. John and Gwen on to talk about the Undy 500. It is a program they put together for foster kids. So join us on episode 19 for that. We'll see you next month. See ya.